You do? What do you think about what you're saying here?
I've seen it many times.
Oh yeah. Where have you seen it? I'm curious.
In New York,
Like a demonstration like this, or just on your own?
like this one, yeah. Same. I think it's in New York. I live in New York, so I think I saw it in New York for.
This exact kind of
For
setup?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The same
gotcha.
setup. Actually, many times. I don't even know if in Europe as well, because I'm originally from Italy.
Probably.
So.
I mean, we have over 600 chapters around the world. Every major city has, it's called the Cube of Truth. Speaks for itself. It's a cube, and we're basically showing the public the truth.
Yeah, I think cows is the first time. Usually, what I saw is chicken.
Yeah, so it's a loop. It goes
It
through.
goes through the.
It goes through the various industries that exploit animals.
Right.
So in the food industry, the clothing industry, the entertainment industry, the testing industries, and basically, you know, this is very impactful for people walking by. They're like, what is going on here? Why are you showing me this? So it's a very simple purpose why we're here. We're here to expose the industries, to show the public what it is that if you're not vegan, I don't know if you are or not, but if you're not vegan, this is what you support. This is what you fund. This is what you pay for. So the question that we ask is very simply this. We'll ask somebody, hey, what do you think about what you're seeing? So if I were to ask you, what do you think about what you're seeing? What is your response?
Yeah, no, of course, it's horrible.
It's horrible, right? So most people respond that way. Oh my God, this is horrible, like, right? Why do most people respond that way? Because most people are, I mean, everyone's human.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
people have compassion. Most people don't want to see innocent beings suffer, right? So what I like to tell people is, look, these are your values. You're telling me that you're horrified by what you're seeing, so that leads me to believe that you're against what you're seeing,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay, most people, same. So these are your values. I'm against what I'm seeing on the screens. But you're paying for what you're seeing on the screens. Now, you're not doing it consciously because you were born into this world
Yeah, of
where it's
course,
perfectly
like-
normalized, right? So I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying you're an evil person. But what I am saying is that if your values are here and your actions are here, these are your words, these are your actions. They're opposite.
match.
They're opposite of each other. What does that make you?
Yeah, like hypocrite, I guess.
A hypocrite, exactly. So now you're not consciously doing it, right? But now that you're aware,
Yeah.
after this conversation going forward, now you can't use the excuse that I wasn't consciously aware. Now you're aware. So the purpose of this conversation is to bring that awareness to you that your actions and your values are not in alignment, right? I'm not telling you what to do, but if you don't want to live as a hypocrite,
So
you have a moral obligation to live vegan.
let me ask a question.
Go for
So
it.
what about like I get the point of vegan. What about like meat or you know, like seafood that is sustainably, for example, sustainably caught food like salmon and
Sure.
what do you think about that? Like
Okay, great question, first of all. I'm going to answer it this two ways. Sustainability, are you talking about environmental sustainability? Right.
sustainability, yeah.
So we are an animal rights group who focuses on animal rights. Now, going vegan has a huge positive impact on the environment,
yeah.
huge, right? And it's not that it has a positive impact on the environment, is that not living vegan has a huge negative impact on the environment.
Yeah.
So we're not necessarily a positive impact, but because we're not negative, we're positive, right? So from the, if we see the animals as sentient individuals who have the capacity to feel pain and to suffer, right? They are victims of abuse.
Right.
Whether they're sustainable or not, they're still victims of abuse or being killed. So the second way that I respond to you is this. From the victim's perspective, whether it's a fish, a pig, a cow, a turkey, a chicken, whatever, a monkey in testing labs, an elephant in a zoo, from the victim's perspective, it's the same. There's no justification. And now, if if we as a species, as a race, as a human race, if we had to eat sustainable fish, for example, for us to survive, I wouldn't be here right now.
You will be
Because
different.
I would.
see-
I don't
see
have a
what you mean.
case. I don't have a
see
case.
what you mean, yeah.
But
we don't. Yeah.
because we can live vegan, it's more sustainable to live vegan. Then we have a moral obligation to live vegan. So that's the only thing I can say to you. Now, what you do with that is totally up to you, right? But you know what the biggest benefit of going vegan is? What do you think the biggest benefit might
I
be?
mean, for me, like I'm trying first of all, so I'm not like
Yeah.
I'm trying now to cut meat at least in the weekdays, and when it's the weekend, then
Sure.
going out with friends is difficult. Is different, but my main advantage I see is actually in the level of energy that I have myself. So I feel like during the week I'm way more productive. I don't know if there's like a 100% correlation, but in general I feel way more productive. It's less heavy. I feel I can focus more on my work, even like energy wise.
100%,
So that part
yeah.
is great, and I
Right.
think it's obviously like thinking very selfish about my benefits as
Right.
opposed to like.
Good point. I was just going to bring that up. So my story is very simple. I learned about what happens to the animals,
Right.
and I went vegan. I used to have a lot of pain in my abdomen area.
Right.
4 or 5 times a night I would wake up with a lot of pain. I went to see a GI doctor. Nothing helped. I went vegan, not for health. I went vegan for the animals. Within a month or two, all of that, years of pain went away. So there is a benefit to health going vegan, obviously, but it doesn't mean that you're healthy. It means that you're healthier. Because I can eat potato chips and Oreo cookies all day, every day,
Yeah,
right?
it's not
And I'm vegan, right? But that's not gonna be very healthy. So, but you can be healthy as a vegan. That's the key. If you couldn't be healthy as a vegan, I wouldn't be here right now
Of course.
talking to you.
Makes sense.
So because we can be healthy, then we have a moral obligation to live vegan. You don't even have a choice. You have a moral obligation to live vegan because you don't have the right to cause suffering to others if you can avoid it. If you can avoid it. Now, I hear a lot of the times people say, oh, I cut meat, I'm eating less and less. You said it yourself, that's a selfish thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But from the victim's perspective, like, let me ask you a question. Let me put a scenario to you. If I were to beat my wife 7 days a week, beat my wife. I'm a wife beater. No.
My girl, I'll tell you what, it's a tough topic. My girlfriend is a human rights woman violence defender, so be careful on your words. So
No, I'm giving no, but it's a good analogy.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna get it, okay? If I beat my wife 7 days a week,
Yeah.
it's bad, right?
Yeah, of course.
But what if I say to you, listen, I'm cutting back. I'm gonna beat her 3 times a week.
I see.
Will you say to me, oh, good job, keep it up, try to do better?
Yeah, no,
or
yeah.
are you gonna tell me, wait a minute, you don't have a right to beat her at all. Yeah, but I'm stopping, I'm only doing it 3 times. You should give me some, it's the same thing.
I guess the thing is like the other one is perceived, I don't mean it's right, as illegal. This one is not perceived
Correct.
as illegal, right?
And it's not just perceived, it is illegal, one, and this one is legal. So it's not perceived, that's the way it is. But legality doesn't equal morality,
I agree.
right? 150 years ago, it was legal to own black people.
Yeah.
It was legal
I'm with you.
to beat them, legal. So you're right, one is legal, one isn't legal, but I'm not talking legality, I'm talking morality.
Yeah.
And I asked you earlier, what do you think the biggest benefit to going vegan is?
I mean, the biggest as a society is definitely like, not killing animals anymore. So
I'll tell you what the biggest
Well-
benefit to you personally.
Yeah.
What is the biggest benefit to you personally if you go vegan?
helping society, I guess, helping, feeling that you're like, doing something good for the world and like making.
Okay, cool. Yes. What I was getting at specifically is, once you go vegan, the biggest benefit to you personally is that you get to go to sleep at night knowing that you are no longer contributing,
Yeah.
you are no longer the reason that others are suffering.
Yeah.
And you get to go to sleep at night no longer as a hypocrite, which you said yourself. I didn't call you a hypocrite.
I agree.
You get it.
I'm with you.
You get it because, okay. So I guess to end the conversation is very simply, when you walk away, you now are aware of how your actions cause immense suffering to others, okay? And they have basic rights just like you, to be free, to exist, to not be exploited, to not be tortured, to not be enslaved, to not be oppressed. They have those same basic rights as you. You don't want nobody to do that to you. What gives you the right to do that to them? So if you think about that, going vegan is easy. People think, oh my God, it's so hard. No. When you think it's hard, it's because you're thinking about yourself. When you think it's easy, it's because you're thinking about the victims. I went vegan like this, and it was easy. Why was it easy? Because I was like, I don't want to be a part of this.
So just last question.
Yeah.
And I'll, you have any
No problem.
So, what do you think so about products like Beyond Meat and those are? Is that the right? Those are okay, right? That's where we
From a moral perspective, they're okay because they are not products of animal abuse, right? Now, they're processed foods. They're not the healthiest, but people honestly they don't really care about health. Okay, because we have a health crisis in this world. If people cared about health, we wouldn't have that crisis. People care about instant gratification. People care about convenience. People care about habit. People care about social gatherings. Like, they don't want to be the vegan at a barbecue. But I tell people, you know what? It is difficult from a social stigma perspective. Like, I'm the vegan, right? Everybody knows I'm the vegan.
Yeah.
But ask me if I care. I stand.
About that part.
I stand for something. I
Yeah.
stand for something. So it doesn't matter what others say. But that's basically all I have to say to that. I'm going to give you a card. Thank you for the conversation. We're anonymous for the voiceless. The voiceless being the animals. This is called the Cube of Truth that you've seen in other parts of the world. There's a few things that you can watch here. If you're going to watch one, I would tell you to watch the first one. That is a lecture at Georgia Tech University. One of the greatest animal rights activists of our time.
Okay.
All he does is give a lecture in front of 200 or 300 students. You got to watch that, okay?
Will do, for
And
sure.
then if you watch another one, watch Dominion.
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 What does that mean,
Dominion
Dominion?
is a documentary about how animals are used and exploited in animal agriculture industries. So you will learn about, for example, just to end the conversation, people say, well, you don't eat eggs. What's wrong with eggs? Eggs are not fertilized. Nobody's dying. But what they don't know is that in the egg industry, who lays eggs, males or females?
Female, I guess?
Females. But for a female to lay an egg, she has to be born. For her to be born, there's a 50% chance she's female or male, just like every other species in the world. So when the chick is male, unfortunately, is male, what happens to the male?
Probably kill him?
They kill him. Why? Because he's never going to lay eggs. Now, how do they kill him? They put him on a conveyor belt. He falls into a grinder,
Yeah.
and he's ground up alive just because he's male. So when you buy eggs, you are supporting and funding the murder of male baby chicks. Okay. So, anyways, the point is, if you live vegan, all of that is behind you. You're no longer responsible for their suffering.
What's your
Okay?
name?
Juan.
Juan. Very nice to meet you.
Nice
Juan.
to meet you. Where are you
Alessandro.
from? You're from Italy, you said.
Italy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Bologna, East Coast.
Bologna. Okay.
Italy is consuming a lot of meat.
Yeah.
As many other.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people tell me, oh, it's really hard where I'm from. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Argentina. I'm from Ecuador.
I mean, I
I'm
live
from
in New York.
But
That's
you know
not
what?
an excuse for me. Like I can
But
get
even
vegan
for them, it's
everywhere.
not an excuse. They would like to use it as an excuse because they say culture. My culture, like everybody, I can't. No, you know what? Culture does not. I always tell people this: put yourself in the victim's position. Now, the excuse or justification that you're using, my culture was too hard. Everybody, we grew up this way. This is okay. From the victim's perspective, does that justify it?
No, it
If you were the victim
Sure.
and somebody said, well, my culture does it, you're gonna be like, well, I don't give a fuck about your
Yeah,
culture.
that's right.
Don't kill me. You know what I mean? So that's all.
Very
Thank
nice
you
to
so
meet
much. I
Juan.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Listen, real quick.
Yeah.
We were recorded
Yeah.
because I like to use these conversations to help our activists become better activists. Is it okay if I share it with them?
Sure,
Put it on YouTube?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Your name again?
Alessandro.
Alessandro. Thank you so much.